We are in Assam's Jorhat district, known for its lush tea gardens, abundant greenery, and home to Majuli, the largest river island in the world. Abounding in natural beauty, this today is also one of the most ecologically vulnerable districts in Assam. At the Khanikar Senior Basic School in Golaghat, about 55 kilometers from Jorhat, students are preparing for a class they all love. Eagerly shuffling cards, it's time to guess if they've drawn a B12-rich chicken, a cake, or the local vegetable tengamora.
B complex vitamin or শক্তিশালী এটা উৎস মই গোটা টুকুৰা টুকুৰকৈ কটা অথবা ৰেপি কৈ কটা আকাৰত উপলব্ধ.
These learn as you play sessions, held weekly, offer valuable lessons. The school toolkit model is an attempt to help children adopt practices on good nutrition and sanitation in the bid to address malnutrition amongst the young.
মই খেলবোৰৰ পৰা শিকিলো যে আমি সন্তুলিত আহাৰ সদায় খাব লাগে হেবোৰ খালে কি হয় আৰু পৰিষ্কাৰ পৰিচ্ছন্ন কেনেকৈ থাকিব পাৰিম মই আৰু পুষ্টিক কেনেকৈ হ'ব পাৰিম হৌচৰ পাছত পানী ব্যৱহাৰ কৰি হাত ধুব লাগে সাবুনেৰে আৰু খোৱাৰ আগত হাত ধুব লাগে খোৱা বস্তু ঢাকি থব লাগে গৰম পানী খাব লাগে আমি হেবিলাক মই খেলবোৰৰ পৰা শিকিলো.
Most of the students in this school belong to Assam's tea tribe. Making up 20% of the state's population, the tea garden workers are a marginalized community, earning 200 rupees a day on average. School dropout rates are high here, with many children underweight and anemic.
Nutrition যোগান ধৰিব নোৱাৰে যিহকে পালে তাকে খুৱাই বুৱাই স্কুলে পঠিয়াই দিয়ে স্কুলো তেওঁলোক সোনকালে গুচি আহে ঘৰতো মানুহ নাথাকে আহি পেলাই স্কুলতে তেওঁলোকক মধ্যাহ্ন ভোজনৰ আমি ব্যৱস্থা কৰোঁ আমি সেই কথাটোৰ ওপৰত লক্ষ্য ৰাখি পেলাই
This module of gaming lessons has been developed by a Bengaluru-based non-profit called the Nourishing Schools Foundation. Archana Sinha, founder, tells us why their target age had been identified as 10 to 15 years.
The most critical period of life in terms of nutrition, which is when a woman is pregnant or her child is less than 2 years old, she often doesn't have the knowledge or the tools that she needs in order to be well nourished or to provide adequate nourishment.
The next best window for lifelong lessons then, Archana tells us, are the formative years.
These are the formative years, both in terms of the habits that they develop then that usually stay with them for life. And the other aspect was that this is quite an important window in life, adolescence, this period broadly of 10 to 19 years in terms of physical and cognitive development too. So even short-term impact here certainly makes a difference later in life.
Launched in 2016, this educational initiative has now reached over 230 schools across Rajasthan, Karnataka and Assam.
গাজৰ কথা সুধিলে গাজৰটোত আমাৰ কি আছে আমলখিটো কথা পঢ়িলো আমলখিটো সি ভিটামিন আছে সেইবিলাকৰ যোগেদি তেওঁলোকে কি নিউট্ৰিচন পায় তেওঁলোকে জানিলে জনাৰ পাছত তাৰ যিখিনি পঢ়া মোটামুটি তেওঁলোকৰ কথাখিনি কোৱা হ'ল তাৰ যোগেদি এনে যদি কিতাপৰ বিদ্যাতকৈ প্ৰেক্টিকেল এটা পঢ়িবলৈ পালে যে সেইটোৰ যোগেদি তেওঁলোকে আমলখি খাব লাগে আমলখিত সি ভিটামিন থাকে তেনেকুৱা নিচিনা একোটাহত তেওঁলোকে মেছেজ তেওঁলোকে পালে আৰু তাৰ বাস্তৱ জীৱনত সেইবিলাক প্ৰয়োগ কৰিব পাৰিব যে আমলখি খাব লাগে আমলখি খালে আমাৰ এইখিনি হয় গাজৰ খাব লাগে গাজৰ খালে আমাৰ এইখিনি হয়
11-year-old Srimati confesses how she has come to develop a taste for eating vegetables.
লাউ ভালো কেলে যে তাত ঠান্ডা এইটো খালে ঠান্ডা হয় গাটো আৰু এটাটো ভিটামিন থাকে
According to official records, across India, more than 14 lakh children are severely malnourished. Severely malnourished would mean a much lower weight in accordance to their height. It also means they are 9 times more likely to succumb to diseases because of a weakened immune system. In Assam alone, more than 36% of children under 5 suffer from stunting, while 68% battle anemia. What is compounding the situation in states like Assam is the fallout of a growing climate crisis. A largely agricultural state, food production and the usual crop cycles have been getting hit by regular flooding, soil erosion, and landslides. Of the 25 most climate vulnerable districts in India, 15 are located in Assam alone.
Many of the rice varieties that we used to grow, it was completely dependent on the weather pattern. Now the weather has become much more humid, much more hotter. Even during the winter, we have a very tiny short winter. Earlier we used to have a long winter. Now it has disappeared. And because of that disappearance, the food pattern, the kind of rice that we used to grow, the kind of vegetables that we used to grow, it has completely disappeared now. So huge impact on climate. কি দিয়ে ডাল ভাত দিয়ে ভাল লাগে তোমার ঘৰত কি কৰি আছে
Deep Jyoti Brahma is from the Farm to Food Foundation. For the last 17 years, the organization has been working with the youth, teachers, and vulnerable communities in Assam to help bring about a change in the way communities perceive agriculture. Deep Jyoti points out how it is not just climate change, but market-driven practices that have been steadily eroding healthy, indigenous production systems.
So, this is our school loke hoye ase, kintu apnaloke
By partnering with outfits like the Nourishing Schools Foundation, their goal is to try and reverse some of these capitalist trends.
There has been a continuous assault on the indigenous traditional practices and knowledge. The market is now, like I said, market is deciding what to eat, and market is also influencing what to grow. So therefore, it is still being grown, it is still being, people do identify, but very few people can identify. Some of the older generation people still do identify 101 varieties of vegetables. But now these vegetables, our young people are bringing it back into their kitchen garden.
Back at the school, we witness how seriously the children take their kitchen garden.
ये हम दाल में देकर खाते हैं, इससे हमको प्रोटीन मिलता है, विटामिन्स मिलती है.
The hands-on approach encouraged by Nourishing School is not just an attempt to teach them how to grow their own food, but also what they should grow.
ये अदरक का पेड़, प्याली पालें. এটো আমি দালি লগতো খাব পাৰো আৰু মাছৰ লগতো খাব পাৰো আৰু সবজি বনাইও খাব পাৰো এটো আমি ভিটামিন পাও প্ৰটিন পাও
Special emphasis on indigenous climate adaptive varieties, Deepa tells us, ensures a balanced and healthy diet.
So we asked them what kind of foods do they have and at what frequencies. Again there we cover both healthy foods as well as the not so healthy foods to understand what are their food habits. And the other aspects related to health parameters, like we measure them for their hemoglobin levels again on a field study basis, and also we cover their anthropometrics like height, weight and MUAC. From these we are able to understand what's their current BMI levels, anemia levels, and gauge health condition.
Gauging the health parameters of children is a crucial first step in developing the Toolkit program, based on which teachers collaborate with the NSF and the farm to food teams to decide what should be grown. At the school, the students break for lunch. On the menu today is a balanced meal of rice, dal, boiled egg, and a freshly harvested vegetable from the school's kitchen garden. However, as Deep points out, having only one healthy meal a day is not enough to address malnutrition. A more comprehensive approach is vital.
Malnutrition cannot be addressed by just having one meal of, let's say, balanced diet. You are eating probably a decent balanced meal, one meal only in the school, but what happens outside? There's no support system. What happens to the family? What happens to the mother who's feeding the baby? What happens to the father who's trying to earn some money because they are not able to earn money, so they are not able to feed more. So therefore, just feeding it's a good step, but that is not enough. You have to look at the behavior pattern. You have to look at the environment also. So try and create some actions around that space also.
When I was 7, I have already told that that organization came to my school and they taught me what is nutrition, how I can grow my own food at my own garden, and also producing some organic manure.
24-year-old Trishamani Hazarika had been exposed to a kitchen garden program in her school when she was 12. She recalls how back then her family could only afford one square meal a day.
Sometimes it was like that. In our plate, we ate some little amount of rice and just aloo pitika. So that time I was very unhealthy, and I was not much aware about that food can be grown at my home and we can consume that. I was also suffering from malnutrition. Now when I look into the picture of my school days, it's like, oh, see how skinny I was, right? So it was the situation then.
Learning to grow her own food over the many years went on to change Trishamani's relationship with healthy eating. Her passion for agriculture drove her to join the farm to food team. Today, she cultivates local vegetables like mani muni, elephant apple, and Nora Bogori in her own garden.
हर Saturday Sunday में वो लोग आते हैं and I teach them about these nutrition things and also some garden thing and growing. They can also grow food in their own garden. Nowadays people, youth like me, used to consume those fast food, right? They think it's a very cool consuming, it's a very cool concept. But this is not. हम लोगों ने ये concept को change करने के लिए ये uncultivated food को promote करने की we are trying to our level best. This is my own pond है. यहाँ पे हम लोगों ने इस बार around 5,000 rupees का fees cultivation.
A role model to the youth in the region, she also helps advocate natural farming as a means for livelihood generation.
हम लोगों को ये भी देखना है कि हम लोग इतना बड़ा क्लाइमेट चेंज आ रहा है, इतना ज़्यादा बर्डन जो टॉपिक है, इतना बर्निंग टॉपिक है, उसको हम लोग मिटिगेट करने के लिए हम यूथ लोगों को ही कुछ इनिशिएटिव लेना होगा. तो ये मैं करने के लिए अभी ट्राई कर रही हूँ. मेरा यूथ मेरा एज का जो यूथ लोग है, मेरा साइल लोग है, तो उन्हीं लोगों को ये सिखाना के लिए आई एम ट्राइंग माय लेवल बेस्ट.
The biggest impact is what our implementation partners also report is children who typically don't like vegetables, once they start growing, they develop an interest because they have grown it themselves. They suddenly start finding them tasty. So that helps turn their behavior. It's kind of a tipping point in their lives when they move from no vegetables to, oh yeah, actually vegetables are interesting.
For the children who not too long ago had very little knowledge on food production, today find themselves curious and excited about farming, notwithstanding the deep impact they are creating on bridging nutritional gaps.
हम लोग सर्वाइव कर सकते हैं बाकी सब चीज़ों को छोड़ कर, लेकिन विदाउट फूड हाउ कैन वी सर्वाइव? सो people like us should take this agriculture as an profession, not just like it's people सोचते हैं कि agriculture is not a cool profession, but हम लोगों को बनाना होगा उसको, एग्रीकल्चर को एक कूल प्रोफेशन बनाना होगा। तो जस्ट मैं फोर्स करना नहीं चाहूँगी, अगर आप लोग क्लाइमेट चेंज के ऊपर अवेयर है एंड फूड के बारे में अवेयर है, तो यू कैन ऑल्सो थिंक अबाउट दैट यू कैन ऑल्सो टेक एग्रीकल्चर एज ए प्रोफेशन।
Thanks for watching Eco India. If you like the story, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Scroll.in on YouTube.